Lauren, what are you doing? We're supposed to be starting the show.
Oh, man, I'm just reading this amazing book. It's talking about cannabis and kind of going over the myths of it. You know, one of the things that people think is that it kills your memory and it kills brain cells and it affects your memory, but it actually regenerates brain cells.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It does.
Right? Have you read this book before?
Yeah, do you realize who wrote that?
Oh, there she is, Dr. Tammy. Awesome.
Good book. Yeah. You know, as I was doing the research for when they first presented to me, will you write the cannabis certifications? At first I said, no, drugs are bad. And then I thought, you know, as I do the education, I want to understand. So I was like, hey, if I'm going to do the education, the research, I'm going to write a book. And that's what I did.
And that's what she does.
Yeah. We have a lot of great stuff for you on the show today. We're going to talk about the myths of cannabis and how you can get legal in the state of Arkansas and so much more. You're going to want to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back this week to the Naked Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Tammy.
And I'm Lauren.
We have a great show for you today. In our cold open, we're talking about the cannabis book, and you can get this book on Amazon.com. It's called The Cannabis Solution. So I just wanted to kind of plant that little seed if you want to learn more and demystify.
A lot of good information.
Yeah, demystify the myths that you may have been told. And you know, as I was kind of going into this process, at first, like I said, I was like, no, drugs are bad. I'm not going to be involved with this. And then I started to understand that just like we have a hormone system in our bodies, and I had to get outside the box to learn about natural hormones from a plant, we have a cannabinoid system in our body. So, little known fact, you have a cannabinoid system in your body and you can take external cannabinoids from a plant, which is really cool because everybody looks at it like it's this bad thing because of reefer madness, and there's a lot of politics around, you know, cannabis or marijuana being bad. But we actually have receptors in our body, and we can have deficiencies in cannabinoids that the plant can actually help. So as I was researching that,
You mean that the plant can actually save lives? And
yeah.
What?
Oh, get this, Lauren.
No way!
The U.S. government has the patent on the anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory properties of the cannabis plant. They know exactly what it does.
So interesting. So interesting.
It's crazy. You know, there's just so much political propaganda around, you know, I think some of it was they were trying to push out the hemp growers because that's a whole nother industry. You know, Nixon even knew, he had a whole team research the benefits of cannabis, and they came back and said it has medicinal properties and it does XYZ, and he fired the whole team.
Like, zip. Don't tell anybody that.
Yeah, zip it. So, you know, there's just so much propaganda around it. It's just crazy. And
it's that control, government control.
Yeah, and we are now facing in the state of Arkansas a lot of issues with all that control, and you know, everybody trying to get in the pot. You know, so cannabis was approved medicinally in 2016, and back in February, the dispensaries or the grow facilities were all supposed to be announced. And so what happened was, people got butthurt, if you will. Can we say that on TV? And, you know, and rightfully so. A lot of people invested a lot of money in these application processes. And so they were like filing lawsuits because they were like, it's kind of like when you lose the beauty contest, you know, hey, let's file a lawsuit because I didn't win. And, you know, the unfair judging, right? So the whole thing right now is about, was there unfair judging? So the circuit judge basically came back and said, yeah, there was unfair judging.
Wow.
So everything's kind of on hold right now. So we're 2 years out from when the voters said that they wanted it. But one of the points that we're going to talk a little bit about how to get legal in the state of Arkansas. you know, sometimes people get a little scared and they're like, this is never going to happen. So I feel like as consumers, if you want to get certified and you have a medical condition in the state of Arkansas, it's really important to go ahead and do that, because our voice there's almost 5,000 applications in the state of Arkansas now, and we still don't even have it available. The voice is saying, when the people go to their doctor and they get these certification letters, their voice is saying, we want this.
It's a need. It's a necessity.
Yeah. And so if you don't do that, you know, you're sending the message, or if you get scared and you just sit back, you're sending the message that it's just not important. And so I think that's really important.
Yeah, be proactive, not reactive. Do it now. Be prepared for whenever the dispensaries do open. And and it's doing more than that. You're making a statement and showing that there is a need for it. So absolutely.
And there's going to be a mad rush. There's not many doctors in the state, because they're probably like I was in the beginning, who were saying, no, drugs are bad, I'm not going to do that. Out of fear.
Yep.
And then when I understood the real medicinal properties, you know, as a game changer for me, one of the things I always like to share when I speak about this is that my father had a seizure disorder, and he took 5 different medications that eventually caused cancer, and he died when I was 19. And those meds didn't even control the seizure. So if that had been available to my dad, it might have been he might still be here today. So, and my mom had Alzheimer's, and I was hoping that she would get it that it'd be legal before she passed away, and she just passed away about 4 months ago, so she didn't get it. That makes me mad. I'm passionate about that. I'm like, it is medicine. It's not for everybody, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong to just get high or recreational, but as medicine, we know that it works.
Right, objectively, you see the value in it.
In my whiteboard segment today, I'm going to talk about different strains and how they work as medicine, so you'll want to stay tuned for that for sure. You know, a couple other things that I just kind of wanted to point out is that the myths of the memory, we know that it actually decreases inflammation, treats cancer, but we also know that it regenerates brain cells. I mean, there's so many studies about that, because everybody's argument is, I don't want to be stupid or dumb or have, you know, problems with my memory. The interesting thing about memory is that it does actually shut down a part of your brain associated with stressful memories. So bad things that have happened to you. So it's wonderful for PTSD, because the parts of your brain where the memory is associated with something negative, or, you know, an attack, or, you know, something really bad that happened in your life, that's diminished. So I shouldn't say that it completely does not affect the memory. It affects the memory in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can relate to that on a level of, well, I have a friend who's in the military, and he had really, really bad PTSD, and the only thing that really helps him is cannabis. And it's not like he's doing it to get high or anything like that. It's that basically he has this dark cloud in his mind, and it's not even, there wasn't anything traumatic where he didn't have to kill anybody or anything like that. It's just part of life and purpose and all those things, and coming back here and, you know, readjusting this to civilization and whatnot, and so he's just got this fog cloud all the time. And when he smokes cannabis, he is like, just like I'm talking to you right now, just so clear-minded, just like so intelligent. So I'm like, who are you? It's amazing. It is amazing to me, like how the difference in
just
what.
Not stressed out.
Yeah, exactly. It just clears all that up for him.
You know, I think one of the things about cannabis too, it's really important, and I try to educate people wherever I go that we actually use the word cannabis, and I love that, you know, you say cannabis too. And
I was taught well.
Yeah, it's just so important, because marijuana is actually a slang term, and that was part of that propaganda that started from that whole Nixon thing, you know, that certain races, and, you know, racism was a real target for that, because what they were doing was looking to say, they called it pot, or they called it, you know, marijuana, and they were using the slang terms that, you know, those cultures used to really make the whole culture bad, not just the drug bad, but make the whole culture bad. It's all control and fear again, you know, but I think as you go forward and you're talking to your friends, or you're sharing the book with them, or you're educating about the medicinal properties, the real science, that you use the Latin term, the medical term, cannabis. Awesome stuff. We have so much more coming up on the Cannabis Show today. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Dr. Tammy, the Hormone Queen. In my almost 20 years of experience in working with tens of thousands of patients, I found that hormones have everything to do with weight loss. There are fat burning and fat storing hormones, so you have to maximize the fat burning and minimize the fat storing hormones. I've created Dr. Tammy's 21-day metabolic solution, which will help you heal your metabolism and lose weight. Very exciting. So what do we have? We have my daily metabolic support, which is formulated with all the ingredients to help your fat burning hormones work better and to minimize your fat storing hormones. I also have a great whey protein if you need a little bit of a meal replacement or just to help with some of the appetite. Helps with that glucose metabolism because let's face it, sugar storage, insulin, those issues are huge with trying to lose weight. And when you crave sugar, it's just no fun. So you're never hungry when you're doing this. Our Detox Complete helps heal the gut so that your body can absorb all these nutrients, because if you don't heal the gut first, then you're wasting your money on all this stuff. So I wanted to make sure you have all those great amino acids and anti-inflammatories. And one of the things that we found is most people are not overweight, they're inflamed. And so you have to treat the inflammation for you to lose the weight and for it to be sustainable. I also have my secret weapon, which I absolutely love, which is methylated vitamins. This is L-methylfolate, and this helps clear toxins because most people are not only inflamed, but they're toxic. So this helps clear all of that and helps your hormones work better. And then we have a great probiotic. There have been studies that have shown that people who are overweight have different bacteria in their guts than people who are thin. So if you want to be thin, you need the thin bacteria. So this probiotic helps heal the gut, and all of these things together help your metabolism work better and help you lose weight faster. Hi, welcome back to the Naked Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Lauren.
And we also want to talk a little bit about how to get legal in the state of Arkansas. So, we were talking a little bit about kind of what's the holdup right now, what's going on, and I hope they have that cleared up very soon because they had very specific rules about, what they were looking for in the dispensaries. Basically, what they did was they broke it down into 8 zones across the state of Arkansas with 5 cultivation and 32 dispensaries. So 5 grows and 32 dispensaries. So they have to have the grow facilities first. So it's those 5 cultivation facilities that basically there was a scoring. Mm-hmm. And so the score was based on certain things. So what they're coming back now and they're saying is that it was unfair scoring. And so the people who invested a lot in getting all their information and to make sure that they scored really high, they're saying, hey, this isn't accurate. So they want to go back and review. So it's a recount, like an election recount. So that's what we're in the process of right now. That's what they're in the process right now, is basically that review process and what's legal and what's fair and keeping everything standardized. So
do we have a timeline on that? We don't know. Okay, so up in the air. All right.
Yeah. Now, if that hadn't happened and those 5 grow facilities had just gone ahead and opened, then the dispensaries could have opened within, it takes about 45 days to grow. So the dispensaries could have been good to go. And I was anticipating summer. Now we may be looking at a little bit longer. So, and I think all that political undercurrent, is kind of keeping all that.
Oh, absolutely.
A problem too. People have their agenda for why all of this has probably happened. So be patient, and one of the things that we mentioned was go ahead and get your cannabis certification if you have a medical indication. And the reason for that is because there's going to be a bottleneck when this does go through because there's not many doctors doing this. So the process for doing that is basically you have to have one of the certifying conditions and you have to have an established diagnosis. So medical records are very, very important. So what you do is you can call our office or whoever does certifying letters. And a lot of doctors are still scared and, they just don't know the facts. And so they're not doing, or they work for big hospital facilities.
Can't risk it and whatever,
Yeah, and so, or there's policy that says they can't. So the VA can't, so there's all sorts of people out there who qualify that can't find a doctor. So you get your medical records together and then you make an appointment with us. And then, depending on, what else going on, I review the medical records. And if you have a certifying condition after the physical exam, and sometimes we'll do blood tests, whatever we need to do, it's a regular medical visit. So it's funny because everyone's like, you're a cannabis doc, you know, or a marijuana doc or whatever. And it's like, no, I'm just a doctor signing a certification letter.
Yeah.
In fact, my bank actually, I'm not going to say names, actually said I couldn't bank with them anymore because I'm a marijuana doc. And I'm like, no, I'm just a doctor signing a letter. I'm not even writing a recommendation for cannabis. I almost slipped there. I'm not even writing a prescription. I'm just saying you have a certifying condition.
You're just saying, checking off the list. Okay, yes, you do have this condition.
Yep, checking the box. Yep.
Yeah.
And then once you get that certifying letter, you then send it into the state of Arkansas with a copy of your driver's license. There's an online application, or you can mail it in. There's a $50 fee to the state, and then they send you a letter within about 2 weeks saying that you've been approved. And I haven't had anybody not be approved, so that's been a good thing. And then when the dispensaries come open, they will send you your card, and that card is good for, you know, whatever your doctor says, the length of time. Most people the card is good for a year.
And you said that, isn't it like 30 days before they open? Is that whenever somebody will find out when they'll know or whatever that they're opening, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm always telling patients, make sure that you have your correct address on there. If you're moving, you know, let them know, because, you know, they won't know when to send the card. So, and that might
I'm
be
sure they will definitely let whoever know exactly where they'll be to get their card.
Yeah. And then once you have your card, then you can go into the dispensary. And what I'm going to talk about in the whiteboard segment is, what do you do when you get to the dispensary? What do you look for? How do you use cannabis as medicine? I am just the doctor who's certifying that condition. I won't be the doctor or the pharmacist in the dispensary telling you what you need. So knowledge is power. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this segment, because you're going to want to know what you need. All right, we'll see you right back here on the Naked Doctor Show.
I was sitting in the doctor's office waiting on him to come in the room, and there's a poster on the door that says, if you can answer 3 of these questions with a yes answer, you most probably need your testosterone tested. So I read the questions, and all 8 of them pertain to me. He sent me that afternoon to have blood work done, and then got the results. He told me, well, I don't know how you're getting out of your chair. It's so low. And so he started therapy immediately after that, every 2 weeks, and now it's down to once a month, and I just feel like a changed person. The things I used to think about doing, I get them done now. And I mean, you just feel good all day long, and you feel more motivated. Your mind thinks more clearer, and I just really think I feel wonderful. I mean, I feel probably, like I said earlier, 35, 40 years old again. I mean, it's fun to be feeling better. I would tell anyone over the age of 40 to go be tested, because the way I feel, it's changed my life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tammy, the Hormone Queen. In my almost 20 years of experience in working with tens of thousands of patients, I found that hormones have everything to do with weight loss. There are fat burning and fat storing hormones, so you have to maximize the fat burning and minimize the fat storing hormones. I've created Dr. Tammy's 21-day metabolic solution, which will help you heal your metabolism and lose weight. Very exciting. So what do we have? We have my daily metabolic support, which is formulated with all the ingredients to help your fat burning hormones work better and to minimize your fat storing hormones. I also have a great whey protein if you need a little bit of a meal replacement, or just to help with some of the appetite. Helps with that glucose metabolism, because let's face it, sugar storage, insulin, those issues are huge with trying to lose weight. And when you crave sugar, it's just no fun. So you're never hungry when you're doing this. Our Detox Complete helps heal the gut so that your body can absorb all these nutrients, because if you don't heal the gut first, then you're wasting your money on all this stuff. So I wanted to make sure you have all those great amino acids and anti-inflammatories. And one of the things that we found is most people are not overweight, they're inflamed. And so you have to treat the inflammation for you to lose the weight and for it to be sustainable. I also have my secret weapon, which I absolutely love, which is methylated vitamins. This is L-methylfolate, and this helps clear toxins, because most people are not only inflamed, but they're toxic. So this helps clear all of that and helps your hormones work better. And then we have a great probiotic. There have been studies that have shown that people who are overweight have different bacteria in their guts than people who are thin. So if you want to be thin, you need the thin bacteria. So this probiotic helps heal the gut, and all of these things together help your metabolism work better and help you lose weight faster. back to the whiteboard segment of the Naked Doctor Show. I'm going to be talking about strains as medicine. And so a lot of times when people come in to see me to get their certification letter, they ask me, well, what medicine am I going to be using? Because the plant itself has over 100 different cannabinoids. The plant itself has over 100 different cannabinoids in it, and each one of those chemicals can act as different medicines. And then there's also terpenes and other chemicals as well. So all of those have different chemical properties. And kind of like we mentioned on the show before, you have an internal cannabinoid system with cannabinoid receptors. And so those receptors can respond to these different chemicals in the plant. And that's the beautiful thing about going medical in Arkansas, is that the plant basically has all these different medicines in it, but that will be standardized and it will be structured towards different conditions. So the main thing that I want to kind of, and this is just a general overview, and I just want to tell you that different strains have different names, so I can't tell you like California Kush or blue, purple, or whatever, they're different in every state. But basically these different strains will be more indica strains or a hybrid or a sativa strain. So an indica strain is more of a sleep-inducing type strain. So they're better for if you have conditions like insomnia or things where you need to relax, chronic stress, anxiety, PTSD, you want more indica. And some of these, depending on which strain they are, will have a higher THC content or a higher CBD content. And THC is the one that gets the bad rap because it's the one that can make you a little bit loopy. So if you need to work in the daytime, you want a lower THC content and maybe a higher CBD content, which CBD is just another cannabinoid. And maybe at night you want a higher THC content to help you sleep, those kinds of things. So specifically for insomnia, there's another cannabinoid, one of the hundreds of cannabinoids, called cannabinol or CBN, and then also some of the extracted versions have a THC little a, which are just different versions of THC. So those kinds of strains are going to be the best for things like insomnia. It's interesting because for things like focus or attention or concentration, you're going to want a more activating, the sativa, more wakefulness. You're going to be more able to respond and have focus at work. If you have things like ADD or have other different conditions like that, then the sativas are going to be better fitted. Once you get over about 18% THC content, you start to kick into a little bit of paranoia though. So, and that's one of the bad things about when you just get your cannabis or your marijuana, if you're not doing it legally, from someone who's just selling it down the street, is you don't know how much you're getting, and oftentimes it does have a very high THC content and can make you paranoid and oftentimes make your pain more where you feel it more. And so those higher THC contents are not necessarily a good thing. Might make you it might be a little more psychoactive if that's what you're looking for, but it can also cause more of the negative effects that you might not want. Also for chronic fatigue, it's a little more activating and can wake you up. For things like migraine, sativa might be a better choice, especially if you need to operate or work in your business during the day, you might need something a little more activating. If you're depressed, you might need something a little bit more activating because you don't want anything that's going to bring you down or make you feel heavy, or like that term they call stoned. And again, for focus or concentration, more of a sativa type strain. When you get to the dispensary, they will actually tell you, based on what your condition is, one of the certifying conditions in the state of Arkansas, which not all of these are on there. ADD, is not one of the certifying conditions. So, that might be something for the future. But when you get to the dispensary, they will tell you, hey, I have muscle spasms, or I have this, or, but some of these can just be symptoms that you might be treating another certifying condition with that you also have. So it's important to know what these are. So you might want to get the book and learn a little bit more about that. But the different strains will be, dictated by, sometimes a little bit of trial and error as well, but whatever they tell you, will best fit your need at the dispensary when you get there. So hopefully this was helpful, and we'll see you right back here on The Naked Doctor in just a minute.
I was sitting in the doctor's office waiting on him to come in the room, and there's a poster on the door that says, if you can answer 3 of these questions with a yes answer, you most probably need your testosterone tested. So I read the questions, and all 8 of them pertain to me. He sent me that afternoon to have blood work done, and then got the results. He told me, well, I don't know how you're getting out of your chair. It was so low. And so he started therapy immediately after that, every 2 weeks, and now it's down to once a month, and I just feel like a changed person. The things I used to think about doing, I get them done now. And I mean, you just feel good all day long, and you feel more motivated. Your mind thinks more clearer, and I just really think I feel wonderful. I mean, I feel probably, like I said earlier, 35, 40 years old again. I mean, it's fun to be feeling better. I would tell anyone over the age of 40 to go be tested, because the way I feel, it's changed my life.
So it's been a great show today. We've had a lot of information and facts about cannabis. Cannabis, make sure you use the word cannabis.
Yeah, cannabis, not Mary Jane, not any other
hash, hashish, pot,
herbal kush, whatever.
Make sure you get the book. We're on Amazon.com, or you can come to the office and order it, where our office is here in Rogers.
There's a lot of really, really cool information on there that even as somebody who probably may be a frequent user of cannabis, there's info in there that you probably haven't read or haven't heard of. It's good stuff, so check it out.
Did a lot of nerdy science discovering that. There are lots of things that you can get in the meanwhile, CBD oil, things that are legal. So I talk about all that in there too, in different forms that you can use. You don't have to smoke it. Everybody's worried about getting cancer from smoking or something like that. So there's lots of different forms that you can use.
The edibles or whatever else.
And if you have a certifying condition and you feel like it might be appropriate for you, or you just want to come talk about that, you can call the office. We're at 1-800-479-6435. Our website is healingartcenters.com. Check us out. We have lots of other things that we do. Hormones, coaching, educational classes. We're all about making you healed.
Yeah, make you feel good on whatever that means for you specifically. You know?
Yeah.
We got a lot of options.
Weight loss, we do all sorts of aesthetics, all sorts of fun stuff as well. So
look good, feel good, inside, outside.
Yeah, check us out. We also have our Facebook page, The Naked Doctor Show, and YouTube channel now, so you can watch all our shows there. So you're going to want to check us out. Like us on Facebook. I do Facebook Live videos every day, and so if you go to our page, you'll get to see information and updates all the time about what's changing in Arkansas about cannabis, or any of the things that we do as well. So
all kinds of good information.
Yeah. Thanks for watching today. Mwah, we love you. We'll see you back next week on The Naked Doctor Show.
See ya.